Good morning. How are you today? Today I'm going to share with you my Bath & Body Works employee Gratis. I like to explain this every time before I start one of these videos that essentially what Gratis is it's an employee perk where Bath & Body Works, the company, will gift its employees brand new items from the latest floor set launch or a sampling of kind of what's going on in their store at the time. So that way we're able to use the products at home and get a personal testimony and expand our product knowledge. This happens roughly once a month or at the beginning of every new theme floor set, and this is the Gratis for the Summer 1 floor set that we just launched this last week. So let's get started. I'll show you what I received for my Gratis. To me, I think this is the biggest deal, especially as a Bath & Body Works history buff. We have finally relaunched the True Blue Spa Wellness Collection. Just to give you a little history lesson really quick, True Blue Spa was originally launched in about 2003, and it was since discontinued actually in 2018. So this was a staple kind of section in our store of efficacious body care in which we really relied on it for a long time. It really gained a strong fan base, and everybody who used these products really swore by them and lived by them. So in 2018, when we officially had discontinued it, it was a pretty hard hit, but also it had been running in the store for so long that I actually had seen a drop off or a decrease of popularity during its final years, just because everybody had already seen it and done it. And so I think that is why they ended up discontinuing and waiting for people to miss it and want it back, so that way when they relaunched it, it would be a bigger deal. I know people would often ask me, like, why do they discontinue my favorite, or why do they discontinue something that everybody loves? Well, that is just a little insight perhaps into why that happens, just because it really kind of spikes in popularity once it comes back after not being here for a while. So I think a lot of people are excited about this relaunch, as am I. These are great products. Not a super huge fan of the gold text, just mainly because it's hard to show on camera, but this is what the True Blue Spa collection looks like now. They are a little bit more uniform than they used to be. They all kind of consist of this dark blue packaging theme, giving it a really luxurious look to match what the product is like inside. I love how the shapes of the items themselves are kind of unstandard to what you typically expect from their signature collection. You know, you've got your tall body creams, shapes and sizes that are very uniform to each other, but this True Blue Spa kind of features some chubbier, cute little bottles, and I really like that. So this one is a walnut shell smoothing foot scrub. So on the back it says, made with exfoliating walnut shells, nourishing shea butter, and conditioning vitamin E. The smoothing foot scrub gently buffs away dry skin to reveal soft, healthy looking feet. Spa secret, pair with the effervescent foot soak and the super rich foot cream to experience the ultimate petty pamper. And this one actually has a fragrance of mint to it. I love the fragrance on this. It's just like a straightforward, refreshing, revitalizing mint scent. If you remember the Mentha products from the C.O. Bigelow collection that they used to carry in stores, they still have the lip gloss, and C.O. Bigelow still sells on their own. But if you remember this kind of Mentha collection, it smells pretty much the same as that. Something I will say is it's probably important to shake this up. I tried to do a demo with a customer when we very first launched this, and some of the kind of moisturizing oils inside the scrub kind of had surfaced. Yeah, you can kind of see it even here. Some of those oils kind of resurfaced to the top of the nozzle since it was sitting upright like this for a while. It's probably important to maybe kind of mix it up before you use it. If you're just like in the shower or something using it on your own, not a big deal. But if you do plan on testing it in stores, you may want to give it a little massage first. So let me show you what this scrub looks like. This is really cool stuff. All right, see how firm and thick that is? So when it came out in kind of a thick looking consistency, but it's surprisingly gentle and smoothing. I find that the granules themselves are quite fine. It's not overly coarse, something like a sugar scrub, which often can have kind of larger granules inside, which can be a little bit on the rough side. I will say though that I do tend to like things like salt and sugar just because they do dissolve. But that being said, for a foot scrub, I think it's fine to have something a little more abrasive like walnut or sand. The skin on your feet is definitely less sensitive than something like maybe on your arm or your legs or something like that. The scent is gentle but refreshing. I think that's also going to be really revitalizing for a foot scrub. So yes, that's kind of a little glance at what that foot scrub is like. This is already tingling and feeling really refreshing on my skin. But that being said, it's time for me to go wash this off and then I'll show you the next product.
A few moments later.
Oh yeah, so I just rinsed off that scrub and I can't believe how noticeably softer my hand feels just in that little spot that I sampled it. It feels so smooth. It's like there's no texture at all to my hand, and when I compare it to the one I didn't scrub, it feels so different. It's so smooth and soft. I'm also pleasantly surprised at how nice the fragrance smells even after rinsing it. It smells just as strong as when I first put it on, so I think that's going to be really great. I love that stuff. So the second Gratis item that we received is actually the part 2 to the foot scrub True Blue Spa foot cream here to go with it. So this is nice and thick and nourishing. Once again, I like this nice chunky cream size. It's not normally in this kind of shape or size from their signature collection. And in comparison, you can kind of see here, this is the foot scrub I just showed you, and then here is the foot cream. So they kind of have a little height difference going on there. But this one on the back says, True Blue Spa Super Rich Foot Cream. Experience the super rich 24-hour moisturization with this luxurious foot cream made with nourishing shea butter, conditioning vitamin E, and soothing avocado oil. Spa Secret, pair with the effervescent foot soak and the smoothing foot scrub to experience the ultimate pedi pampers. So this one is also scented like mint as well. So I'm just going to put it over the patch that I already tried the scrub on and see how they are together. Look at this thick texture. It doesn't come out nearly as quickly as the other body creams. Wow, this is so thick, and a little goes a long way too. Like, I'm gonna need to get the rest of my hands involved on this one because look at how that spreads. I just put a little dot and already I can cover my whole hand with this. It is so thick. It's even thicker than a hand cream, and it's also thicker than a body butter. Although the way it feels kind of reminds me a little bit of a body butter texture. I would say that the most similar is probably the paraffin hand cream, although I will say that it's a little bit more tacky than the paraffin hand cream, and so therefore it makes a lot more sense to put this on your feet than it would your hands. On the backs of your hands, it's fine, but if you were to do it like on the palms like this, like I already feel like maybe that's a little bit too intense for something where I need to use my hands all the time. But if you need for treatment on the backs of your hands, if you've got really dry skin, I bet that would actually feel great, because honestly, this is feeling like it's working miracles on me right now. Ugh, and that fragrance is just super gentle but refreshing. So what a great pairing those make. So if you grab any 2 products from the True Blue Spa, I think that that would make a great pairing. Ugh, look at that. My skin is just glowing, minus the cat scratches, of course. For the third item of our Gratis, we were allowed to choose any full-size body care from the new fragrance single launch for the summer, Gingham All-American. This is a flanker fragrance of our original Gingham. And if you want to know more about this fragrance, I will leave a link up above in the card section, but I actually did a full in-depth review of this new scent. But just to glance over it really quick, the fragrance notes are juicy red fruits, white freesia, and blueberry sugar. Do you notice the red, white, and blue theme going on? So I think that's super fun for summer. I specifically chose the fine fragrance mist just because I think that that's the best form to review it in, and I knew I wanted to make a review right away when I redeemed this Gratis. So our choices were the fine fragrance mist, shower gel, lotion, or body cream. I always try to choose whatever one is the most expensive, just because if I do plan on redeeming rewards or buying it myself, it's a little bit easier for me to go out and purchase the shower gel and lotion than it would be the spray. Although it's only a matter of like $1, $2, so it's not like the end of the deal, but it's just kind of a principle I do for myself if I can't choose. All right, and the fourth and final item that we received for our Gratis for Summer 1 is the brand new single launch fragrance from the men's collection. This is called Honorable. The choices were shower gel, body cream, or a deodorizing mist, I believe. And I chose the shower gel just because this is a fragrance in the men's collection that I'm not sure that either Jose or my dad will enjoy. This may end up being a gift for someone on Jose's family side, but we'll see. This is a little bit more of a deeper, earthy kind of scent, and I know that Jose's preference for fragrance tends to lie more in the fresh, natural scents, so he really does like those eucalyptus lavender types of scents. And then my dad tends to be a little bit more of a warm, cozy. Like, he can pull off a little musky, I think is fine, and he does like the fresh, clean as well, but he often likes things that have vanilla in them. So this one might just pack a punch a little bit too hard for the guys in my life. But either way, I gotta read you the notes and see if this is one that you might like. So this is genuine leather, crisp pear, and warm patchouli. I know patchouli tends to have like a very spicy, earthy vibe to it, but the pear is a really interesting choice, and I think that the pear works really well with the leather. Leather is a very obvious, distinct kind of fragrance, and so throwing that pear in there I think is a really good choice, and they actually are very complementary, surprisingly. To me, when I smell this, it kind of has a little bit of a leather couch mixed with used crayon papers. I know that sounds terrible and that is not a very good way to describe this fragrance, but that's just kind of the vibe I get from it when I smell this. It's very, very strong of leather. So if you like those leathery scents, then this is going to be perfect for you. Something that was kind of fun is alongside with our Gratis, they kind of gave us a little product knowledge kit. I took a picture of it when I was at work so I could show you guys, but I'll put it over here so you can see. Essentially what it was is in the kit, they had 2 of our fragrances that are brand new, both the Honorable by the men's collection and then the Off the Vine, the tomato fragrance. And what they did is they had little vials of the fragrances themselves, but then the breakdown of the notes, singular notes in each vial. So that way we could kind of smell one note at a time. That way we could really truly understand what it was we were smelling and what notes kind of pop out. It was a really great educational tool to help us understand these fragrances and kind of what it was we were smelling and how they all work together to create the fragrance that they created. So when I was smelling the 2 notes for Honorable, they included the pure leather and then the paracord. I really liked that paracord, but it was surprisingly soft. I was like, this would make such a nice shower gel. How fun would it be if we just had a singular note of pear as a fragrance sometime? But anyways, that was just kind of a fun little tool they sent us that I thought you would think is pretty cool too. But that is my Gratis for Summer 1. I hope you enjoyed this video and let me know which of the new fragrances for Summer 1 are you the most excited about launching in stores this week. Thanks again for watching and I'll see you next week. Bye!